Ethan had always loved the stars. The night sky called to him like a distant song, full of secrets and mysteries. Ever since he was a boy, he had spent hours staring through telescopes, sketching planets, and dreaming of what might exist beyond Earth. Tonight was no different. He worked alone in the observatory on a small hill outside the city, the hum of the machines and the soft glow of control panels filling the quiet room. He had been scanning a new sector of space, when a flicker on his monitor caught his eye. At first he thought it was a software glitch, but then the flicker turned into a strange streak of light moving with purpose. His pulse quickened. He leaned closer to the screen, adjusting the telescope. "What the?" he whispered. The object was moving too fast to be a comet and too precise to be a meteor. Its light was smooth, almost alive. He rubbed his eyes, thinking he was seeing things. But when he looked again, the streak of light expanded and seemed to surround the observatory. Before he could react, a brilliant flash filled the room. Ethan felt a sudden pull in his chest, a force that lifted him off the ground. The world spun around him in colors he had never seen. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. Panic clawed at him, yet underneath it was a strange magnetic calm. Then everything went black. When he opened his eyes, Ethan was no longer in the observatory. He was lying on a smooth, glowing surface, soft under his hands. The air smelled different, clean, sweet, almost floral. The walls around him shimmered, reflecting soft waves of light. The entire space was alive with movement, though nothing seemed mechanical. It was as if the room itself was breathing. Ethan scrambled to his feet, his heart racing. "Hello!" His voice sounded small, swallowed by the vastness around him. A figure appeared from the shimmering light. Ethan froze. She was taller than a human, with smooth, pale skin that seemed to glow softly. Her eyes were larger than normal, deep and luminous, and they held a wisdom that made him feel both small and seen at the same time. Her hair floated slightly, as if underwater, and her movements were fluid, almost like a dance. "I am Liara," she said. Her voice was melodic, soothing, and somehow carried warmth, despite being foreign. "Do not be afraid." Ethan's mind raced. An alien. He was seeing a real alien. He wanted to run, to escape, but the floor beneath him felt sticky in a way that made running difficult. The air itself seemed to resist sudden movements. He backed up, glancing around for anything familiar, but the room gave nothing away. "Where am I?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "You are on my ship," Liara replied calmly. She stepped closer, and Ethan noticed the faint glow surrounding her body, like light flowing through her veins. "It is far from your world. You have traveled with me." Ethan's stomach dropped. His mind spun with questions. "Traveled with you? You—" Liara tilted her head slightly, her expression gentle. "Abduction is not the word I would use. I sought you because of your courage, your curiosity, and your mind. Humans are unique." Ethan laughed nervously, shaking his head. "Unique? I'm just a guy with a telescope. I don't understand any of this. I want to go home." Liara didn't argue. Instead, she gestured toward a part of the room, and a panel opened, revealing a soft, glowing chair. "Rest. You will need your strength to understand the journey ahead." He hesitated, but exhaustion from the sudden teleportation and the shock of the encounter overtook him. He sank into the chair, feeling a strange calm wash over him. The lights around him pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. It was disorienting, yet comforting in an odd way. "Why me?" Ethan asked, curiosity overcoming fear. "There are billions of humans. Why pick me?" Liara's eyes seemed to look past him into something deeper. "You seek knowledge, even when it frightens you. You look at the stars not as obstacles, but as mysteries waiting to be solved. That is rare." Ethan blinked. He didn't feel special. He was just ordinary. But the way Liara looked at him made it hard to argue. Minutes soar, maybe hours passed in silence. The room seemed to shift, the lights changing subtly, showing images that Ethan could barely understand. Stars, planets, and alien landscapes flickered on the walls, like a moving mural of the universe. Each scene was more breathtaking than the last. He leaned forward, mesmerized. Lyra's voice broke through his awe. "This is my home, and soon it can be yours to explore. I can show you what no human has ever seen." Ethan swallowed. Part of him wanted to run back to Earth, to the familiarity of night skies and old telescopes. But another part of him, the part that had always dreamed of reaching beyond the stars, was filled with wonder. I don't know, he admitted. "I've dreamed of this, but I never thought it could be real." Liara smiled softly. "Reality is often stranger than dreams." The ship moved gently, and Ethan felt it more than he saw it. The walls rippled as if the vessel was gliding through some invisible current. He stood up, steadying himself. "Where are we going?" he asked. "Where the stars have never shone for your eyes," Liara said. Her gaze met his, and for a moment, Ethan felt a strange connection. She wasn't threatening. She wasn't cruel. She was inviting. Ethan's fear didn't disappear, but it softened. Curiosity and wonder replaced some of the panic. He realized that, no matter what, he could not yet comprehend the vastness of what he had entered. "What if I want to leave?" he asked, testing his limits. Lyra's expression didn't change. "You may choose to leave, but the path is not simple. This ship listens to me, and I guide it. It will take time for you to understand it." Ethan nodded slowly. He wanted to protest, but the more he looked around, the more he realized he didn't want to leave just yet. The beauty of the ship, the shimmer of the lights, and the calm intelligence of Liara stirred something in him he hadn't felt before. A part of him, buried under years of ordinary life, was awake. He sank back into the glowing chair, letting his eyes wander over the alien landscape that filled the walls. Stars, planets, and strange celestial objects danced before him, vibrant and alive. For the first time, he felt truly small in the universe, but not insignificant. Liara stepped closer, her hand hovering near his shoulder, but not touching. "You are safe," she said. "You are not a prisoner. You are a guest. And perhaps, one day a companion in exploration." Ethan's heart beat faster, but not with fear. It was excitement, wonder, and a strange warmth he couldn't name. He wanted to ask questions, to demand answers, but for now, he simply watched the universe unfold before him. Ours are maybe only moments. Passed as the ship glided silently through the void, Ethan realized that he had not felt the urge to escape since waking. Something about Liara, the ship, and the infinite stars made him forget the fear of being taken. He had been abducted, yes, but for the first time in his life, he didn't want to leave. Lyra's soft voice echoed in the chamber. "Rest now. Tomorrow, you will see what lies beyond the worlds you know. Tomorrow, your journey begins." Ethan leaned back in the chair, staring at the living sky around him. He could not know what awaited him. He could not know how far from Earth he now was. But one thought burned clearly in his mind. He had never imagined the universe could be this beautiful. And he had never imagined that he might never want to leave. And for the first time in his life, that was okay. Ethan woke to a soft light, gentle and warm. Unlike the harsh brightness of morning on Earth, the ship was quiet now, but it seemed alive in a way he could feel through the floor beneath him. The chair from last night had moved to a corner, and he found himself standing in a wide chamber that shimmered like liquid glass. He realized the walls were slowly shifting colors, showing abstract patterns that seemed to respond to his thoughts. Liara was already there, waiting. She moved with the same grace as before, her eyes calm and steady. She seemed to glide across the floor rather than walk. "Good morning," she said, her voice carrying a musical tone that made Ethan's chest feel light. "You slept well." I think so," Ethan replied. He glanced around, trying to understand his new surroundings. "Where do we start today?" Liara smiled faintly. "Where curiosity leads. There is much you do not know, and the universe is waiting for you to see it." Ethan felt a thrill at her words. Even though he had been abducted or, as she said, brought her, he could not deny the excitement stirring inside him. He wanted to explore, to understand, to learn. "Teach me," he said simply. She inclined her head, and the walls of the chamber responded. Holographic displays appeared, showing stars, planets, and alien civilizations. Each image shimmered with life, rotating and moving in ways that defied physics as Ethan knew it. "This," Liara said, gesturing to the display, "is a small part of what my people study. But it is not just knowledge we seek. We study to understand, to connect, to see the patterns of courage and thought across the cosmos." Ethan's eyes widened. "Your people? You mean aliens like you?" "Yes," Liara said. "We have observed many species, but humans are unique. Your curiosity, your courage, your adaptability, they are rare qualities. That is why I wished for your company." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and disbelief. You wanted me here?" Liara nodded. "Did. Not as a prisoner, but as a companion. I have watched your world, your people, your choices. You are different, and I wish to see this difference up close." Ethan hesitated. He had expected fear, threats, maybe even experiments. But instead, Liara spoke with respect, with calm interest. Something inside him began to shift. Perhaps this abduction was not a prison at all. It was an opportunity. Liara extended her hand toward the holographic display. As she moved her fingers, the images responded, zooming in on a distant planet. Ethan could see mountains taller than any on Earth, rivers of shimmering liquid that reflected alien suns, and skies filled with unfamiliar constellations. "Can you feel it?" Liara asked. "The energy of these worlds, the stories they hold." Ethan nodded slowly. "It's beautiful. I've never imagined anything like this." Liara's eyes sparkled. "Then you are ready to learn." For the next several hours, Ethan moved through the ship with Liara, learning how it responded to thought and touch. He discovered that it was semi-sentient, able to adjust its environment to comfort or guide its passengers. The walls would brighten when he approached. Panels would shift to provide information he sought. And even the air seemed to change with his emotions. It was unlike any technology he had ever encountered. Liara watched him carefully, offering guidance but never forcing him. She explained the alien systems in simple words, and Ethan found that he could understand much of it through observation and intuition. He realized that humans, with their creativity and problem-solving skills, could interact with technology in ways other species could not. "You are learning quickly," Liara said, her tone almost proud. "Your species has the ability to adapt in ways that many others cannot." Ethan smiled, a small burst of pride warming him. "I guess curiosity does have its advantages." Liara laughed softly, a sound like wind over glass. "It does, and your courage, even in fear, is remarkable. You see not only what is in front of you, but what could be." They paused near a large viewing window, where the stars stretched endlessly. Ethan leaned against the glass, mesmerized by the vastness. "It's incredible," he murmured. "I never thought I'd see this, not like this." Liara stepped closer, her presence calming. "And yet it is only the beginning. There are worlds, beings, and experiences that will challenge your understanding. You may feel fear, confusion, even doubt, but it is all part of learning, part of living." Ethan nodded, feeling a strange sense of trust. Despite being far from Earth, despite everything being alien, he no longer felt alone. Liara was patient, knowledgeable, and kind. There was no threat in her eyes, only a quiet hope that he would grow alongside her. Over the next days, Ethan's fear slowly faded. He explored more of the ship, learning to interact with its systems, discovering alien languages, and seeing worlds through the ship's windows that were beyond anything he had ever imagined. Liara guided him gently, answering questions and offering explanations without overwhelming him. One day, while they were observing a planet covered in violet forests and crystal rivers, Ethan made a mistake. He touched a panel too hard, and a small cascade of lights flickered wildly. Panic rose in him. He thought he had damaged the ship. Before he could react further, Liara was there, placing a calm hand near his shoulder. "It is all right," she said softly. "The ship adapts. It learns as we learn. Nothing is broken." Ethan exhaled, relief flooding him. I thought I ruined it. You did not, Lyra replied. You learned. Mistakes are as valuable as successes. They show courage, curiosity, and the willingness to try. Ethan looked at her, admiration growing. Her words were simple, but they carried meaning he had never felt before. In that moment, he realized that Lyra was not only teaching him about the universe, but about himself. As the days passed, Ethan found himself anticipating their time together. He wanted to ask questions, to explore, to see everything the ship could show him. He no longer worried about returning to Earth. He wanted to see the universe as it truly was. With Lyra guiding him. One evening, as they floated in a chamber filled with soft starlight, Ethan spoke quietly. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad you brought me here. Lyra's eyes met his, warm and steady. And I am glad you are here. It is rare to meet a being who understands curiosity, courage, and wonder as you do. Ethan smiled, feeling a connection he had never experienced. So, I'm not a prisoner. Lyra shook her head. Not at all. You are a guest. Perhaps one day, a companion. But always, the choice is yours. For the first time since the abduction, Ethan felt truly free. He could leave if he wished, but he no longer wanted to. The ship, the stars, and Lyra's presence had opened a new world of possibilities. He wanted to explore, to learn, to grow. The ship glided silently through the cosmos, carrying Ethan and Lyra toward worlds unknown. And as he watched the stars drift past, he realized that the fear that had gripped him was gone, replaced by excitement, curiosity, and a strange sense of belonging. Ethan did not know what lay ahead, what dangers or wonders awaited. But for the first time he understood that some journeys were worth every risk, every uncertainty. And with Lyra by his side, he was ready to embrace it all. For Ethan, the adventure had just begun, and he knew, deep in his heart, that he had never wanted to escape. Ethan had settled into life aboard the alien ship, but the excitement of exploration had not dulled his mind. Each day brought new lessons, new worlds to see, and new challenges that tested his courage and patience. Lyra continued to guide him patiently, explaining the workings of the ship, showing him alien landscapes, and revealing fragments of her own culture. One morning, the ship shuddered slightly, and a low vibration ran through the floor. Ethan looked around, alarmed. Lyra, what's happening? He asked. She moved swiftly to the viewing window, her eyes narrowing at a cluster of glowing objects in space. We have entered a region of rogue asteroids. They are unpredictable. The ship will react, but I will need your assistance. Ethan's heart pounded. My assistance? What can I do? You see patterns that others overlook, Lyra said calmly. Your human intuition may guide us safely through this field. The asteroids loomed closer on the window, irregular and fast-moving. Ethan felt a rush of fear and exhilaration at the same time. He stepped forward, studying the movement of the rocks and how the ship's controls responded to Lyra's guidance. Focus on the flow, Lyra instructed. Predict the path, then act with confidence. Ethan hesitated, then placed his hands on a set of panels that glowed in response to his touch. The ship pulsed, reacting to him as though it were an extension of his own body. He could feel the vibrations, almost like a heartbeat, guiding him to steer the ship carefully. Move left, then rotate the field downward, Lyra said, her eyes locked on him. Trust yourself. Ethan followed her instructions, using instinct as much as logic. The asteroids moved unpredictably, but his mind worked in patterns, analyzing and reacting in seconds. He adjusted the ship's course, feeling the thrill of control and the fear of failure mingling together. Suddenly, a large asteroid veered toward them. Ethan froze for a heartbeat, but then remembered Lyra's calm presence. He acted quickly, pushing a panel forward, sending a ripple through the ship that shifted their position. It's just enough to avoid disaster. Lyra's eyes sparkled with approval. Well done, Ethan. Your courage and quick thinking saved us. Ethan exhaled, a grin spreading across his face despite the lingering adrenaline. I actually did it. You did, Lyara confirmed. Humans possess a quality other species rarely display. Fear does not control you. You act, you adapt, you survive. For the first time, Ethan felt a deeper sense of pride. It was not just about surviving. It was about discovering the strength within himself. Leora's admiration was not empty. Praise, she had witnessed countless species. But humans, she said, were special. The asteroid field cleared, and the ship moved into a calmer space. Ethan leaned against the viewing window, staring at the stars, feeling both exhausted and alive. "I've never felt anything like that," he admitted. Lyara smiled, stepping closer. "And there's much more to see, much more to learn. You must understand the universe not only with your mind, but with your courage and heart." Ethan nodded slowly. He realized that being aboard this ship was more than an adventure. It was a journey of growth. He was learning to see the universe through new eyes, to act in ways he had never imagined. Over the next few days, Ethan's confidence grew. He began taking small initiatives, exploring new chambers of the ship, interacting with alien technology, and even anticipating Leora's instructions. The ship responded to him more easily now, almost as if it recognized him as a partner rather than a guest. Lyara observed him silently at first, noting his adaptability. "You are learning faster than I anticipated," she said one evening. "Your species' ability to improvise is remarkable. You see patterns, solutions, and connections that others would miss." Ethan chuckled nervously. "I just think about what needs to be done. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't." "Sometimes it works because of courage," Lyara corrected gently. "Sometimes because of your willingness to act, even when you do not fully understand." Ethan thought about that. He had always been cautious on Earth, careful not to fail, not to take risks. But here, surrounded by alien wonders and guided by Lyara, he had learned that fear could be transformed into action, hesitation into insight. One day, Lyara led him to a chamber filled with a swirling pool of glowing liquid. "This is a teaching space," she explained. "It allows you to experience the flow of energy from worlds beyond your own. You will feel the connection of life, movement, and thought." Ethan stepped carefully to the edge. The liquid shimmered and moved like it had a consciousness of its own. He dipped his fingers, feeling currents of energy ripple through him. Images and sensations flickered in his mind. Alien forests, oceans of color, beings communicating in patterns he could not yet name. "This is incredible," he whispered. "It's like I can feel the universe itself." Lyara nodded. "Exactly. Not all knowledge comes from observation. Some comes from experience, from connection." Ethan's fear of the unknown had faded completely. He was learning not only about the alien world, but about himself, his courage, his perception, and his ability to adapt. Later, as they floated in the chamber, Lyara shared stories of her own people. She spoke of explorers who traveled countless light years, of civilizations that valued connection and understanding above conquest, and of the rare beings who inspired curiosity and respect. Ethan listened intently, fascinated by her words. "You see," she said softly, "I brought you here not just to observe, but to participate. To see that humans are capable of remarkable things when given the chance." Ethan's mind raced. He had thought of himself as ordinary, just a man who loved the stars. But here in this alien ship, with Lyara guiding him, he realized that courage and curiosity could open doors he had never imagined. One evening, while observing a planet with swirling blue and green clouds, Ethan made a bold suggestion. "What if we tried to study that world more closely? Maybe even land there?" Lyara tilted her head, surprised. "You would like to descend to the planet?" "Humans often fear the unknown. Why do you not?" "Because I want to understand. And I trust you," Ethan replied honestly. "I want to see it with my own eyes, not just through a window." Lyra's expression softened. "Very well. We will prepare. But you must understand the universe is not always predictable. Courage alone is not enough. You must also remain aware, adaptable, and attentive." Ethan nodded, feeling a surge of excitement. For the first time, he felt like a true explorer, not just an observer. He was not a prisoner or a guest. He was a participant in something vast, beautiful and dangerous. As they prepared for descent, Ethan glanced at Liara. She stood beside him, calm, poised, her presence reassuring. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for letting me be here, for trusting me." Liara's eyes met his, and for a moment, the universe seemed to pause. "It is not I who trust Ethan. It is the universe itself, and humans. You are a rare gift to see it truly." The ship moved toward the planet, its engines humming softly. Ethan's pulse quickened. He looked at Liara, and she smiled, a gesture filled with quiet pride and warmth. He realized then that he was no longer afraid. He had faced rogue asteroids, unpredictable systems, and unknown technology. He had acted with courage, thought with clarity, and adapted with ease. For the first time, he felt capable of navigating not only the universe, but the mysteries within himself. The planet below shimmered like a jewel, its surface a tapestry of color and life. Ethan felt a thrill of anticipation. This was a world humans had never touched, and he would be among the first to see it. Liara reached out, her hand brushing his gently. "Are you ready?" she asked. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of fear, excitement, and wonder. "I am," he said firmly. "Let's go!" And together, they descended, stepping into a new chapter of adventure, a world of unknown beauty, and a journey that would test Ethan's courage and ingenuity like never before. For Ethan, the universe was no longer distant stars on a screen. It was alive, pulsing, and full of possibility. And he was ready to meet it head-on because with Liara at his side, he had learned that fear could be transformed into wonder and curiosity into courage. The planet below was more beautiful than Ethan had imagined. Its violet forests stretched like oceans of color. Rivers of crystal-clear water reflected twin suns, and the air shimmered with strange, luminous particles that floated gently like fireflies. Ethan's feet hovered just above the surface, held by the ship's anti-gravity field. He could feel the pulse of the planet beneath him, as if it were alive. Liara guided him carefully, her hand occasionally brushing his shoulder. "Feel the energy of this world," she instructed. "Listen to it. The life here is different from Earth, but it speaks in a language all beings can understand: curiosity, growth, and survival." Ethan's heart raced. He bent closer to the ground, letting his hand hover above the luminous soil. It felt almost warm, vibrant with life. He had never imagined that an alien world could be so alive, so welcoming in its own way. "This place. It's incredible," he whispered. "I never thought I would see anything like it." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Few humans ever will, and fewer still have the courage to descend and experience it fully. You are not ordinary, Ethan." He felt a twinge of pride, but also humility. He was far from home, yet here, in this alien world, he felt alive in ways he had never known. He realized that he had begun to understand something important. Courage and curiosity were not just qualities, they were keys to unlocking the universe. As they walked floated gently through the violet forest. Liara began to share more about her own life. "My people explore not only for knowledge, but for connection. We seek beings who challenge our understanding, who push the boundaries of thought and perception. You were one such being." Ethan listened intently. He had known little about her culture beyond what she had shown him on the ship. "Why me?" he asked quietly. "Why risk everything to bring a human here?" Lyra's expression softened. "Because humans are unique. You have qualities that inspire others, even your species. Courage, curiosity, compassion, and the willingness to act when others hesitate. I wished to see these qualities firsthand, to understand them in a world beyond your own." Ethan swallowed, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. It was one thing to learn about the stars and alien worlds. It was another to be singled out as someone extraordinary. He felt the weight of the moment, but also a sense of purpose he had never known before. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Ethan instinctively jumped back, but Liara remained calm, her eyes scanning the horizon. "Do not fear," she said softly. "An unexpected visitor approaches." Ethan looked ahead and saw a sleek alien vessel descending from the sky, its metallic surface reflecting the twin suns. The ship's presence radiated authority, and Ethan could feel the tension in the air. This was not an ordinary encounter. Liara's posture shifted slightly, her calm demeanor now tinged with caution. "They are curious about why I have a human with me," she explained. "My people rarely bring beings from other worlds to this region. Some may see it as a violation of protocol." Ethan's stomach twisted. What? What will they do? "They will judge, but not harm. If we act wisely," Liara replied. "We must show that humans are capable of understanding and cooperation." As the alien ship landed, Liara led Ethan forward. He could feel the eyes of the approaching beings on him. They were humanoid but taller, with luminous skin and eyes that reflected deep intelligence. Ethan felt a shiver of fear, but quickly reminded himself of what he had learned: the courage to act, to observe, to adapt. One of the beings stepped forward, speaking in a language Ethan could not understand. Liara translated calmly. "They ask why you have chosen to bring a human into this region. They wish to see proof that humans can contribute positively." Ethan stepped forward, remembering Liara's lessons. He spoke simply, honestly, and with confidence. "I am here to learn, to observe, and to help wherever I can. I do not seek to harm, only to understand and explore." The alien council studied him for a long moment. Ethan's heart pounded, but he held his ground, meeting their gaze. Then one of them nodded slowly, a gesture of acceptance. "You have courage and honesty," Liara translated. "This human may remain under guidance. Observe carefully. Learn." Ethan exhaled, relief washing over him. He had passed the test, not by strength or skill alone, but by showing character and integrity. Liara's eyes shone with pride. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest he could not name. Over the next few days, Ethan worked closely with Liara to demonstrate his abilities. They studied the planet's unique life forms, mapped its energy flows, and observed its unusual phenomena. Ethan found himself thinking creatively, solving small problems, and making decisions that even Liara had not anticipated. The alien council watched, occasionally offering advice, but mostly allowing him to act. One evening, as the twin suns set and the violet forests glowed in soft light, Liara turned to Ethan. "You see now," she said, "that humans are capable of more than you imagined. Your courage, intelligence, and compassion are rare. They inspire even my people." Ethan looked at her, a mix of pride and disbelief on his face. I never thought I'd be this," he said quietly. "Special." Liara shook her head gently. "Not special in the sense of being above others, but remarkable in ways that matter. You act when others hesitate. You seek knowledge, even when it is difficult. And you show empathy in situations where fear might take over. That is rare." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. He had never seen himself this way before, as ordinary, but as capable, courageous, and connected to something greater than himself. The next challenge came unexpectedly. A sudden storm of energy erupted from the planet's surface, pulses of light, and waves of force that threatened to disrupt their work. Ethan's instincts kicked in. He moved quickly, using the skills he had learned to adjust sensors, stabilize equipment, and protect delicate instruments. Liara assisted him, guiding his actions while allowing him to take the lead. When the storm finally subsided, the alien council observed the results with quiet approval. Ethan had acted decisively, creatively, and with courage. Liara's hand brushed his shoulder briefly, a gesture of silent acknowledgement and pride. "You have learned much," she said softly. "Not only about this world, but about yourself. Humans possess qualities that are rare and valuable. I am honored to share this experience with you." Ethan smiled, feeling a connection deeper than he could describe. He had begun as a fearful human, abducted into an unknown world, unsure of what awaited him. Now he was no longer afraid. He had adapted, grown, and proven himself. And more than that, he had formed a bond with Liara's understanding that went beyond words. That night, as they floated above the glowing forests in the ship, Ethan looked out at the alien horizon. "I never thought I'd feel like this." At home, he admitted quietly. Lyra's eyes met his, soft and reassuring. "Home is not always a place, Ethan. It is a state of being. Courage, curiosity, and trust can make any place home, even among the stars." Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of peace. He realized that he did not want to return to Earth not yet. There were worlds to explore, mysteries to uncover, and a connection with Lyra that he could not ignore. As the ship prepared to lift off and continue its journey, Ethan felt a thrill of anticipation. He knew that challenges would come, dangers and surprises awaited, but he also knew that he was ready. With courage, curiosity, and Lyra's guidance, he could face anything. For the first time, Ethan understood what Lyra had meant when she spoke of humans as unique. It was not about strength or technology. It was about the heart, the mind, and the courage to step into the unknown and to embrace it fully. As the ship rose into the sky, leaving the violet forests behind, Ethan felt a deep sense of purpose. The universe was vast, full of wonder and danger, but he no longer feared it. He had learned to trust himself, to act with courage, and to see the beauty in every challenge. And he knew that, no matter what lay ahead, he would face it with Lyra by his side. For Ethan, the journey was no longer about escape. It was about discovery, growth, and the realization that the universe was far larger and far more beautiful than he had ever imagined. And that sometimes the greatest adventure was not just in exploring the stars, but in discovering who you truly are. The ship glided silently above a new world, a planet bathed in soft golden light. Ethan stood at the viewing window, his hands pressed against the cool glass. He had seen so much since his abduction worlds no human had ever imagined. Creatures beyond description, energies that defied understanding. But this world felt different. It carried a calm, a warmth, and a promise that stirred something deep within him. Lyra approached quietly, her presence gentle but steady. "It is beautiful, isn't it?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Yes. It feels alive in a way the others didn't. I don't know why, but it feels right." Lyra smiled softly. "The universe speaks to those who listen. Some worlds resonate with courage, curiosity, and spirit. I think you feel it because you have learned to see, not just observe." Ethan turned to her, a mixture of admiration and affection in his eyes. I never thought I would feel this way. About being here, about everything. I don't want to go back to Earth not yet. I don't want to leave." Lyra's eyes shone. "And you do not have to. Choice is yours, Ethan. You may return, or you may continue with me." The words hung in the air, heavy with possibility. Ethan's mind flashed to Earth-familiar streets, his small apartment, the nights of stargazing alone. But then he thought of everything he had learned, the bond he had formed with Lyra, the adventure that stretched endlessly before him. For the first time, he realized he did not long for what was familiar. He longed for what was extraordinary. "I want to stay," he said finally, his voice steady. "I want to see the universe with you. I want to learn, to explore, to understand." Lyra reached out, her hand brushing his. "Then it shall be so," she said. "Your courage and choice honor not only yourself but your species. Few humans would dare embrace the unknown as you have." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him, not just from her touch but from the words themselves. He had feared abduction, feared the unknown, and yet he had grown to trust, to act, and to embrace it all. In that trust, he found freedom, not the freedom to escape, but the freedom to choose, to live fully. The ship descended toward the golden world. As they approached the surface, Ethan noticed rivers of liquid sunlight flowing between rolling hills and crystalline forests. Strange creatures moved gracefully across the landscape, neither threatening nor timid. The air shimmered, carrying colors and scents that stirred his senses. He felt a connection to the planet, as if it recognized his arrival and welcomed him. Lyra guided him to a chamber within the ship, a control room that overlooked the planet. Panels glowed softly, mapping energy flows, weather patterns, and life forms. Ethan watched, fascinated, as the planet seemed to respond to their presence. This world, Liara explained, is alive in ways humans have yet to fully understand. Its energies are sensitive to thought, intention, and harmony. It will flourish with respect, just as it will falter with carelessness. Ethan absorbed the information, feeling the weight of responsibility. I understand, he said. I want to help. I want to protect it, learn from it, and explore it responsibly. Liara nodded approvingly. Your intentions are clear, and your heart is aligned with courage and curiosity. That is why I sought you. Not all humans possess such qualities. As they studied the world, Ethan began to notice patterns. The energy flows of the planet were like a living network, connecting forests, rivers, creatures in ways that mirrored thought and emotion. Liara guided him, showing him how to interact with the planet's energy gently, to influence it without harm, and to observe its responses. Days passed and Ethan grew more confident. He learned to predict shifts in the environment, to sense disturbances, and even to communicate in subtle ways with the creatures around them. The planet seemed to recognize his presence and responded with calm and cooperation. He felt alive, purposeful, and connected in ways he had never imagined. One afternoon, a sudden tremor shook the planet. Ethan instinctively reached for the controls, feeling the vibrations under his feet. Liara, something's happening. Liara moved beside him, her eyes scanning the readouts. It is a natural phenomenon, but one that could be dangerous if mishandled. Trust your instincts. Ethan's pulse quickened. He observed the energy flows, the movement of the creatures, and the shifting terrain. His mind worked quickly, applying everything he had learned. He adjusted the controls, guided the ship to stabilize the environment, and projected calm intent toward the planet's energy. Slowly, the tremors subsided. Ethan exhaled, a mix of relief and triumph washing over him. Liara's eyes gleamed with pride. You acted decisively, wisely, and with courage. You have grown beyond my expectations, Ethan. Humans are extraordinary indeed. Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. I didn't just survive, he said. I participated. I contributed. Liara placed a hand on his shoulder. And that is why you are here. You have embraced the unknown, learned, adapted, and shown qualities that inspire even those who have seen the stars for centuries. You are not just a human, you are a bridge between worlds. Ethan's chest swelled with emotion. He had started as a frightened man, abducted into the unknown, unsure of what awaited him. Now he was a partner, an explorer, and a trusted companion to Liara. He had proven himself to alien beings, to the universe itself, and, most importantly, to himself as night fell on the golden planet. Ethan and Liara stood together at the viewing window. Watching the twin suns dip below the horizon, the sky was painted in vibrant hues, the energy flows of the planet glowing softly beneath them. I never imagined life could be like this, Ethan said quietly. Not just the worlds, but everything. The learning, the connection, Liara turned to him, her gaze steady and warm. And yet it is real. You have chosen to embrace it. Courage and curiosity have brought you here, and now choice allows you to stay. Ethan nodded. I want to stay. I want to explore, to learn, and to be with you. I've realized that this is where I belong, at least for now. Lyra's eyes softened, and she brushed a strand of hair from his forehead. Then it is so. The universe is vast, Ethan, and there are countless worlds to discover. But you have proven that the greatest discovery is not just of planets or stars, it is of oneself. You have found courage, wisdom, and heart. You have embraced life fully. Ethan felt a sense of peace he had never known. He looked out at the golden landscape, the flowing rivers, the glowing forests, and felt connected not just to the world, but to the universe itself. He understood that adventure was not about fear or escape, it was about discovery, trust, and courage. Over the following weeks, Ethan worked alongside Liara, exploring the planet, interacting with its creatures and learning the secrets of its energy. Each day brought new challenges, new discoveries, and new opportunities to test his courage and ingenuity. The bond between him and Liara deepened, a connection built on trust, shared experiences, and mutual respect. One day, as they floated above a crystalline lake that reflected the golden light of the suns, Liara spoke softly. "Ethan, you have chosen to stay. You have proven your heart, your mind, and your courage. The universe welcomes you not as a visitor, but as a participant. And I welcome you as a companion." Ethan's heart leapt. He had never imagined feeling such acceptance, such belonging. I'm honored," he said. "More than I can say," Liara smiled, a gentle, luminous expression that filled him with warmth. "Then let us continue. There are countless worlds, experiences, and wonders awaiting. And together, we will see them, understand them, and grow." As the ship lifted off, leaving the golden planet behind, Ethan felt a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment. He was no longer a man abducted by an alien beauty. He was an explorer, a learner, a participant in the universe, and a trusted companion to Liara. He had faced fear, embraced the unknown, and discovered the courage within himself. For the first time, Ethan realized that true adventure was not about escape. It was about connection, courage, curiosity, and the willingness to embrace the unknown. And with Liara by his side, he knew that the journey had only just begun. Together, they sailed through the stars, bound not by fear, but by wonder, trust, and the promise of endless discovery. Ethan's heart swelled with excitement for the worlds to come, the lessons to learn, and the bond that had grown stronger with every step of their journey. He had been abducted, yes, but he had never wanted to escape. And now, as the stars stretched endlessly before him, he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be.